Amina first met Timi at a friend's wedding. He was tall, charming, and confident. His presence alone seemed to draw people toward him. He spoke with an air of assurance, the kind that made a woman feel safe in his presence. At the time, Amina was fresh out of university, working as an intern at a marketing firm. Timi, on the other hand, was already an established businessman. He had wealth, influence, and a smile that made promises she wanted to believe in. "You're the most beautiful woman in this room," he had said, and she had laughed, brushing it off as just another flirtation. But Timi pursued her relentlessly, showering her with gifts, surprises, and words that made her heart race. Within a year, they were married. Amina thought she had found her fairy tale. She had no idea she was stepping into a nightmare. For the first few months, life was perfect. Timi was attentive, always checking on her, calling her multiple times a day to see how she was. But soon, the check-ins turned into demands. "Where were you? Why didn't you pick up immediately? Who was that man you were talking to?" At first, Amina brushed it off as love, a sign that he cared. Then came the isolation. "You don't need friends. I'm your husband. I should be enough. Quit your job. A wife should stay home and take care of her husband." The first slap came when she refused to quit. She had gasped, holding her cheek, staring at the man she once thought was her protector. Timi had immediately apologized. "It was a mistake, baby. You know how much I love you. It will never happen again." Amina believed him. But then it happened again. And again. And again. By the time Amina gave birth to Zara, she was a prisoner in her own home. Timi controlled everything, her finances, her movements, even what she wore. "You're my wife. You belong to me," he would whisper, his fingers gripping her wrist just a little too tightly. When Naomi was born 7 years later, Amina had stopped fighting back. Not because she didn't want to, but because she had 2 daughters to protect. She learned to endure, to smile in public and hide her bruises at home, to walk on eggshells, trying not to provoke his wrath. But deep down, she knew. One day, she would have to leave. For her daughters. Before it was too late. It took Amina years to find the courage to run. One night, after Timi had left for a business trip, she packed a small bag, took Zara and Naomi by the hands, and fled into the night. Her heart pounded as they hid in an old friend's apartment. She started making arrangements, lawyers, shelters, protection. But she had underestimated Timi. He found them. With expensive lawyers and a corrupt system on his side, Timi won full custody of the children. Amina stood in court, begging the judge, "Please. He is dangerous. My daughters are not safe with him." But the judge only looked at her with cold indifference. And just like that, her children were taken from her arms. At first, Zara and Naomi thought their father had changed. But monsters do not change. Timi became more controlling than ever. Zara, now 14, became the main target of his anger. She tried to protect Naomi, keeping her innocent for as long as she could. But she was trapped. No one to talk to. No way out. Until one night, she found the courage to send a message. "Mom, help me. Tonight." Amina's hands shook as she read Zara's message. She didn't hesitate. That night, she broke into Timi's house. She found Zara curled in the corner of her room, shaking. She found Naomi asleep, unaware of the nightmare they were living in. And she found Timi standing there, smirking, as if he still had control. "You shouldn't be here, Amina," he said, his voice calm. "Legally, these children are mine." Amina's fury burned brighter than her fear. "You will never touch my daughters again." Timi laughed. Until the police sirens screamed outside. Until the officers stormed in, tackling him to the ground. Until Zara collapsed into her mother's arms, sobbing. And for the first time in years, Amina knew. They were finally free. It took months of therapy, love, and patience for Zara and Naomi to heal. Amina rebuilt her life from the ground up, finding work, getting a new home, and proving in court that Timi should never be allowed near his daughters again. And when she won full custody, she held her daughters tight, whispering, "No one will ever hurt you again." Because in the end, Love should never be chains. And now, they were free.
Please press subscribe button. It help us bring you more interesting stories. Your support keep us going. Please subscribe.